morning. Awesome, awesome, awesome. How is everyone tonight? I hope you guys are staying safe. This is a time when COVID-19 is, it's around, it's here, it's doing its thing. So I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you are practicing social distancing. I hope you are wearing your mask. I really do hope that you are taking care of yourself, not only yourself, but your family as well. So just want to make sure I cover that base first. I always like to check on you, make sure you good, make sure you all right, and you're taking care of yourself and your family. So come on, come on, come on, come on in the room, as they say. Come on, come on, come on. Everybody come on. Everybody. So welcome, welcome, welcome to this live tonight. I know it's been a while since I've been on. I'm trying to build up some brand consistency here. Um, so just like I'm having to do things a little differently. So, but welcome to my live. I want to talk to you tonight a little bit about my book. So you think you want to have sex? Yes, yes, yes. This is super important as we're having these conversations about economic stability, strategy, building wealth, and all of those things, mass incarceration, um, all of these things. Do you not know that some of our early sexual practices kind of helps us to funnel into these situations where we are in poverty, where we are um, suffering, not being able to attain wealth. And so I thought, you know what? Let's try to cut it off at the path, right? Let's try to give our children and our grandchildren something that a lot of us didn't have because we suffer from the residuals of slavery. What the residuals of slavery look like is a combination of behaviors, that we practice for so long that we actually would think is a part of black culture, and it's not. So having a baby daddy is not a part of black culture. Before the 1960s, the majority of African American homes were two parent family homes. So having a baby daddy is not a cultural thing. Having a baby daddy is not what we do. It's not how we operate. It's not how we raise families. That's just not how we do it. Now, I do know that there are other races who do have children outside of wedlock, but my priority is the black family and all families in terms of if you want to get this book and use this book as a guide because it will help you have conversations with your children that you really do need to have because a lot of times they're having sex because they have an emotional imbalance, right? That happens when you have an absent father or for some reason the child is not able to understand what is going on in their life because they're kids, right? And they don't understand how to navigate life. And so that's okay. It's all okay, guys. It's all good, okay? I'm not pointing a finger. I'm not blaming anyone because short story of my backstory is I was a single parent. My mom was a single parent, and she had a child as a teen. She got married, and then they had a whole bunch of kids. It's 10 of us, and but they ended up getting a divorce. And so anyway, but she did get pregnant as a teen. Her first child was when she was 16. Sorry, mama, I ain't trying to tell your business. Okay, back to me. I actually got pregnant through my first child came through rape when I was only 13 years old, and so I did have that child. But I was sexually active, um, but had nothing to do with that. But just trying to put it into context, I was sexually active at that time. So when you talk about so you think you want to have sex, I did have sexual abuse in my background and all of those things. I did have an absent father in the home. There was abuse in the home. There was lack. There was poverty. There were all of these moving components that moved me in a direction to where I was sexually active as a teen. And so looking back over my life, look, I'm old now, Bert. Look, this is gray. I'm old now. So what better thing for me to do than to go back and to give back and to try to help those who are in my community, especially because we need to close this gap in understanding. what is actually going on in our community. And I know for the most part, we don't like to talk about things, right? Sorry, I got a piece of cotton or something on my face. We don't like to talk about things, right? We don't like to talk about it. We just let it happen. But it's time that we stop doing that because it's actually damaging our ability to gain wealth, to attain the careers we want in life, and really it just keeps us in struggle mode, right? How many of you can relate? How many of you know about the struggle story? Raise your hand if you know about their struggle story because your mom was a single parent. Maybe they got a divorce, whatever the case may be. Maybe she was never married. Maybe you have siblings who all of you have different fathers, right? So we know that the struggle story exists. Just recently, Tommy, she did a video. Tommy from the Real Housewife Note. Tommy from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Her and her daughter went kind of live. They had this little virtual live thing that went kind of back and forth where they were trying to explain the situation. Bottom line is, you had a situation where Tommy, who's young, she's in her 30s, I'm pretty sure. She has a teenage daughter, though, that's in high school, I believe, and I don't want to speak on her daughter because that's not what I'm about. But what I'm saying is, she found herself in a situation where she has a teenage daughter in high school who is pregnant. And so they kind of, like I said, online kind of had a little back and forth, like mothers and daughters do. No fallout, no fighting, nobody's cussing anybody out, nothing like that. But just a dialogue, right, of what's going on in their life. And I just wrote this book, So You Think You Want to Have Sex. It's going to be released on August the 15th. And so I wanted to share more with us concerning that and how we are actually, if we choose to, right, because this is about making decisions, if we choose to, we can actually help our children navigate their lives through these tough times. Again, when you factor in having an absent parent, and a lot of people think, well, I do know my daddy. He do come by sometimes. We do have somewhat of a relationship. We get along fine. Da 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 da. You can have a active father, and you can have a absent father. You can actually have a present father, and still your child will need help navigating through their teenage years. That's just, it is what it is, right? They have hormones, they have all of this, but the main thing they don't have is leadership. They don't have any guidance. So this is where my book comes in. So you think you want to have sex? There are actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 chapters in this book. Because 16 is when people think they can start dating. All right, so it's 16 chapters in this book. Each chapter is going to highlight a conversation that we need to have with our children. It's going to break that wall down, right? If they're hiding behind emotional imbalance, if they're hiding behind insecurity, if they're hiding behind just not knowing what to do, why to do, and why not to do it, it's going to break those walls down and help us have these conversations that we need to have with our children regarding if they are trying to choose whether or not to have sex. Now, we've all been teens, right? There's not a person alive that's past teenage years who hasn't been a teenager. And I know for some reason, I don't know why we don't get that, but that's just the reality of it. And so because of that, now, not everybody who is past their teens and they're adults now has a lot of sense, right? Or can be a good judge of what needs to happen at this point, I should say. Because a lot of people are like, those kids, they're going to have sex. There's nothing you can do about it. Just give them a condom, put them on birth control pills, and wish for the best, right? A lot of people have that attitude. I'm from the South. And in the South, do they call the girls fast? They call the boys mannish. Not a lot of expectation. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I don't mind going out on a limb because we need to see things differently. And I am, by the way, Kathleen Harris, your conscious coach and author of the book, So You Think You Want to Have Sex, along with the Legacy Workbook, along with Things I Wish I Knew, along with Hurt People, Help People. I'm the author of all of those books, which you can find on Amazon on August the 15th. So going back to what I was saying, we do have these preconceived notions, or we do have this dialogue that we tend to have, especially in the African American community, especially down south, where we really don't have an expectation, right? We kind of think, hey, look, they're gonna do it, it's gonna happen, get ready for it, it is what it is, help them the best way you can. And so we're not really setting any expectations. We're not even creating any plans. We're not doing any of that. We're just letting life happen, right? We just let life happen. And for some of us, we think out of the clear blue sky, a way is going to be made for our child. And it really doesn't happen that way. You really have to put in the work with your children. Now, I'm a part of two groups of successful women, one black women, one mixed race women, predominantly white. And from what I've heard from both sides of educated versus uneducated, white, black, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, is we're not doing a very good job with sex education. Now, your version of sex education is give them a condom, put them on birth control pills, teach them how to pull out, all of those things. That's your method of birth control pill. I get it. I've heard it. I've seen it. Doesn't work, right? I mean, it's beneficial and it does work in a lot of different ways. However, this is another approach. This is an approach where we help them during their teenage years to master thinking. We're going to put them on a road to thinking. We want to build up their critical thinking skills and develop their conscious mind. As I said, I am a conscious mind coach, and that is what I do. I totally believe in it. I believe in it. It's my passion. It's my joy. I love to do it. I love to speak with people and talk to people and see that light bulb come on. A lot of times, people get annoyed. They sometimes, feel some type of way. But I believe if you sit with it and grow with it for a minute, you'll agree that, sometimes it's just good to utilize that conscious mind to get that brain flowing. And so that is really, really, really what I do is help them develop their conscious mind. You're going to find 16 chapters in this book. In these 16 chapters, this is light. This is light. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not asking you to go above and beyond. I'm not asking you to do a lot of research. I'm simply saying to you, read the book, follow the exercises, and give your child an opportunity. The top three things that this is going to do is, number one, it is going to eliminate the struggle stories. What are the struggle stories? Baby mama, baby daddy, I need Pampers, I'm trying to finish school, I need an apartment, I need utility assistance, I need food stamps, I need all of this help, right? One of the things that Tommy mentioned in her video was you can't even afford a doctor. And that's just one of the things that you are going to have to do. Let me step off camera for just a second because I have bad allergies. Okay. So you're going to have bills, you're going to have all of this. And the bottom line is if you can't afford a doctor, if you can't afford to already live on your own without any type of welfare or assistance, then you were not ready for a child. And some people might say, well, you can have a baby and you can be married and you guys can still struggle. Well, I get that. I totally agree with that. It's going to be hard. So the question is, if we know it's going to be hard, why are we still not ready and prepared to do all we have to do to stop the struggle stories from early sexual activity? And that's the question. Are we willing to take an extra step to stop the early sexual activity? Because that is what's putting us on this track to poverty, right? It's putting us on this track to defeat. It's putting us on this track to the struggle story. So number one, we want to break the struggle stories. That is number one. Number two, we want to create a lasting bond. That's number two. Create a lasting bond. When you create a lasting bond, that means that you and your child are building expectations. You're working together. You're devising a plan. You're figuring out life, right? That's how parents end up with these great relationships with their children. When I say great relationships, I don't mean we go out to eat together, we have fun together, we watch movies together. That's all good. But you're still going to have to get to the heart of the matter. You're still going to have to dig deep. You're still gonna have to teach them how to use their conscious mind. You're still gonna have to challenge your child so they can come up to the next level. And so that's what I'm talking about, creating stronger, longer lasting bonds, right? And then that's number two. And the third thing this book is going to do, it is going to help allow your child to have an opportunity to plan. Let me tell you something. One thing that a black child does not have in the United States of America is the opportunity to plan their future like they should. Now, we do have a few who manage to, and we use this word ourselves, right, escape or make it, right? We want it to be so common that we make it that we don't even use the words escape and make it anymore, right? We want it to be the norm that black children are excelling, that they are graduating, I say graduate free, that they're graduating free without all these partners and without all these babies and without all this other crazy stuff that comes along with early sexual activity. And so we want to help it become the norm that we do not have baby mamas, baby daddies, multiple sex partners, especially before graduating from high school. Now, why did this pique my interest? Why did I get into this? Number one, I got into this because of what I missed as a child. Now, I'm not Michael Jackson. I don't need a giraffe, and I'm not running around acting like I'm 12 years old. I'm a grown woman. But what I'm saying is that I see a continual pattern in our community where we are missing our greatest opportunities, where we could have been doctors and lawyers and I want to say it's in my head, but it won't come out of my mouth, epidemiologists, or the people that figure out diseases or whatever, or engineers or whatever the case may be. We'll have better opportunities to go that route and to be successful if we are not having these early sexual behaviors as teens. But we get derailed, right? We're getting derailed as teens. Our teens are getting derailed. They're getting derailed by all of this influence, all this sexual influence, right? That leads them down a path of destruction that takes away from their real life, right? Because you're not really living your real life. You're not really living your real life. A lot of us are living the struggle story. We haven't had an opportunity to live what our real life could be if we were able to come to the fullness of our life, if we were able to meet higher expectations, if we were able to grab a hold of a vision as a child and see a way that, hey, I can be a doctor, I can be a lawyer, I can be a prosecutor, I can be a judge. And kudos to and thank God for all of those who struggled through, right, and still became those things. But what I'm saying to you is, why not give them the opportunity to lose that struggle story, to elevate on a higher frequency, and to make being successful without the struggle stories a norm. We don't need our children graduating talking about, hey, my daughter inspired me to finish school, and you're in high school. You don't need a daughter to finish high school, right? You shouldn't need that much inspiration to finish high school, right? You see a whole kid to finish high school. And so even if you have a child, if you're pregnant right now, it doesn't matter. This book is going to serve a purpose of breaking the cycle and breaking those struggle stories. Three things: break that struggle story, create lasting bonds, allow your children to have a plan for their life like they never imagined. This is Kathleen Harrod. I am your conscious coach. I just wanted to talk to you guys briefly for tonight. Grab the book on August the 15th, So You Think You Want to Have Sex. This is a tool to help develop their conscious mind and teach them sexual responsibility. Thank you for watching. You guys have a great night. I love you all. Give me just a second. I'm about to log off. Okay. Let's see. And thanks for joining me, Facebook. I was live on Instagram as well. But thanks for joining me as well. You guys have a great night. Bye bye.